It's Chris S. and the Owl breaking down Breeders' Cup this Saturday slate. No Friday here. We're not here to waste your time. Let's jump straight into the picks. We're starting off with the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, where we have Gamine going off as the favorite. Faded pretty badly last time out, but the further she runs, the worse she does. So with this race at her preferred distance of 7 furlongs, she is definitely the deserved favorite. What do you think, Owl?
I definitely have to agree with you. That's the standing horse.
7-5. How does that sound to you?
That's a good odds. Those are very good odds.
Serengeti Empress should pick up some play. Speech should pick up some play. But you would imagine that Gamine is probably going to dance around somewhere at even money. Would even money still entice you, Owl?
Yes.
Even money would still entice you?
Yes.
Speech had her best start. Two-back, winning the Grade 1 Ashland by 3 lengths. How does that make you feel? 6-1. Sounds like a pretty good last start.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Not on Gamine's level, though.
Not really, no.
You must have had something for Serengeti Empress, though. Mighty impressive last time out in a loss, given that the pace scenario was completely messed up for her.
My horse in this race, running with Gamine, is the number 4.
30-1.
30-1. Yep.
Why do you like In the Midst of Biz?
I like that they stay with the jockey. I like that the jockey knows the horse and seems to like the track too. So he runs.
It
some
seems to be you know what?
Really nice races.
The best thing about your 4 pick here is that he ran by far the best race of his life on the Keeneland dirt track at 6 furlongs. This is 7. There's a few things about this horse here. Got some speed. Definitely has some early speed. I don't know if he's fast enough to get to the front here. But early speed, and speed in general, on this Keeneland dirt track is very likely to favor horses on the front end. So this is one of those horses that's 30-1 that will get completely forgotten about. It's a 4-year-old, ran by far the best race he's ever run last time out. Could be a sneaky horse at the bottom of a superfecta or a trifecta. What do you think?
What I like, it's a good trifecta for me. Yeah.
Or a show horse,
or a show horse.
A horse you want to put in 4th in a super to blow that up. There's a lot of options here.
Yeah. What I really, really like about this horse is that he moved away at 6 furlongs. So the 7 furlongs will absolutely give him an edge. And he ran a great race last time out. I think this horse has a chance.
Well, he's run 3 good races in a row.
Yeah.
He's not in the Breeders' Cup for no reason. The crazy thing about this horse, and probably the reason that he's 30-1, is we can go back a year to him running a 54 buyer, beaten by 10 lengths and at 20,000 non-winners of 2 claimer.
Yeah. And then being claimed for what? For 35,000, 20,000?
That is definitely true, and that will not be the only horse on Saturday's card that has been claimed in the last year.
For minimal amount of money. When you look at this horse, when he was claimed, he just worked his way up the ladder.
Sure did, yeah, absolutely.
And like I said, last time out, 6 furlongs, moving away.
Sure, yeah.
I really like.
Totally fair. So,
that's why.
What is your final verdict on your winner for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint?
My horse is obviously the 2.
And you would accept the 2 at anything over even money?
Yes.
That's fair. My final verdict for the race, also Gamine. 7-5 would be nice. Even money I probably would also take.
The try I threw in there is 2-4-4-7-9.
2-4-4-7-9.
Yeah.
All right. So we will move on to Race 5 on Saturday, the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. One of our personal favorites running here. Got Stormy from Canada. We are Woodbine people, after all. 5.5 furlongs on the turf at Keeneland. What were your first thoughts here, Owl?
I did not like the Canadian horse whatsoever.
Got Mark Casse, Tyler Gaffalione.
I know.
Two of your favorite connections coming in at 7-2.
Absolutely. I don't like the last few forms of the horse.
It's a tough spot for God Stormy.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I mean, boy, 7-2. If the horse took that kind of money, the rest of this race would be coming a lot more interesting.
Yep.
How about this Imprimis 4-1 with Herad Ortiz Jr., who has quite literally been on fire this year?
Definitely. Joseph Orsino, I know myself quite well. He used to train for us as Beechwood Farm, today Adena Springs. So, yeah, he's a very good trainer. It's a horse who definitely has a show chance.
He's 4-1. He's got a win chance.
No, for me, it's a show chance.
So it's not a horse that you like, then?
I like the horse. I don't think he's going to win.
All right, that's fair enough. What do you make, because this horse is another one of these horses, and we'll see this a lot on Saturday, horses that last ran at Kentucky Downs. What do you make of those Kentucky Downs? Because you're a steeplechase guy, and you know that it's a class racetrack, but is it also a class racetrack for the flat horses?
Definitely, especially turf.
Don't they only have turf there?
They only have turf. They're running some of the best turf races in Kentucky.
Fair enough. So one of the horses that I wanted to talk about here was Glass Slippers. Kevin Ryan, Tom Eves. Seems a little bit crazy as a 12-1 morning line, given the type of class that this
one are you to?
Glass Slippers, number 6.
Slippers.
A little crazy, 12-1 morning line. Like I said, given the type of class that this horse has been keeping in Europe. I mean, Batash beaten by 5 lengths. Batash beaten by 2 lengths. Tom Eves has ridden this horse the whole way through, and you're just littered with Grade 1 wins in there. Longchamp, 6th of October, winning a Grade 1 by 3 lengths. 2 starts back at the Curragh, what is that, a month and a half ago, winning another Grade 1 by half a length. It's a super, super classy horse, and the racetrack in Keeneland is going to favor European horses a lot more than it normally would at a place like Santa Anita, where the Breeders' Cup usually is. I think there's going to be more ground, or more give in the ground, a little bit more cut in the ground, as the Euros would say. I like me some Glass Slippers in this race. What say you, Owl?
I have him as a top 3 standing horse. Definitely,
So,
I agree with you 100%. He's a very, very good horse.
Piece of a try for you. I like him on top. 12-1 on the day. I would take that in a heartbeat.
My horse is absolutely the 8.
Alexandra, can you explain yourself, Owl?
Yes, I can.
Fire away.
It's a horse who ran great races all through, who had trouble the last 4 or 5 times, and still won. So I think that horse has an absolute, for me that horse is unbeatable.
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 12-1, unbeatable.
Unbeatable. And my second horse is then Glass Slippers.
So we
I
have.
to agree with you.
We have a boxed exacta together.
You have a box exactor, and
you know what's crazy on your Alexandra is if anybody out there who's listening to this right now has been watching horse racing this year, you definitely know that Joel Rosario, turf sprinting, is not the worst deal in the world. And if you're going to get 12-1 on him at the Breeders' Cup, also not a terrible deal.
That's it.
So that might not be the craziest call in the world on Alexandra, the Australian bred in the 8-hole in race number 5.
With all the red marks on her, I absolutely love that horse.
Are you not concerned about her last race?
No, not at all.
She won the Grade 1 Jaipur and closed way off of it into an insane pace.
Yep.
And then you go 2 back. She closed into an insane pace. And then you go 3 back. She closed into an insane pace over and over and over again.
And
it's a sprinting horse, and she always gets there. Do you not think that could be because of the pace setup in front of her?
What do you think the Breeders' Cup is gonna do? You think they're gonna be falling asleep in front?
I think it'll be slower than Belmont or Santa Anita.
Never. I don't think so. I think the speed in Keeneland, who is an absolute speed track, who everybody goes for the lead, will be as fast as anything. Maybe not like Santa Anita, but definitely speed.
Fair enough. So, that was the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. I have Glass Slippers at 12-1. That's number 6.
Yep.
And the Owl has number 8. Alexandra, the Australian bred, coming in also at 12-1. We will move on now to the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. So, here we have the big Fans Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. We can't say that because we do not want to get banned off YouTube. That would suck. 1 mile on the dirt, Keeneland, race 6, $1 million, grade 1. Should be interesting. What say you, Owl?
For me, the most interesting horse is the number 12, who is 8-1.
Owendale, Florent Giroux for Brad Cox.
Who is a very consistent horse. You can bet in almost every mile race there is. So, Florent Giroux, good jockey, Brad Cox, great trainer. So,
I would tend to agree with that. Yep, I would tend to agree with that. Good jockey, great trainer. That makes a lot of sense. I had the sneaky horse in this race, and based on the odds, it's not so sneaky, but when you actually dive into the racing form, it is a little bit more sneaky. Knicks Go, the Maryland bred, ridden by Joel Rosario, the great trainer, Brad Cox, back again, 7-2. This is a very, very tough horse to even know what you're getting, because if you put a line through his last 2 performances, you would even question why he's in the Breeders' Cup. Joel Rosario rode him last time, allowance optional claiming, 80,000, non-winners of 3. Won it by over 10 lengths. If he runs back to that, he's going to win this race. 7-2, bank it. No problem. 116 buyer, absolute killer. That was not a one-off, because the race before that was an allowance optional 2, 50,000 at a similar type track. Keeneland and Oaklawn run very similar. He went right out front, never stopped. Won by 7 lengths, put up a 104 buyer in an allowance optional claiming 50,000, non-winners of 2. That's actually pretty tough to do. So, you go back before that, and you have a lot of places beaten by 50 lengths in the Gotham last year in Aqueduct, just all over the place. I'm not really sure what I'm getting out of this horse, but I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like number 10, Complexity. I don't like number 1, Art Collector. I don't like War of Will number 4, so I eventually landed on the 5. If he runs back to his last race, pretty sure he wins, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be lower than 7-2 come post time. Just one thing about Breeders' Cup bettors is they do not want to lump on a horse that ran in an allowance optional claimer last time. So that's going to be my pick.
And that's the one we have to, I have to disagree.
Totally fine.
Yeah, because that's, for me, it's the 12, not the other Brad Cox horse, like you said. I mean, I love Joel, obviously, but I don't like the horse.
How about this? Your 12 is a little bit more of a classier horse than my
Yes.
horse is. A lot of graded stakes places, 1.2 million in the bag, winning races at a 33% clip, seemingly always putting up a 100+ buyer figure. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like when you're picking the winner of a horse race, you're looking for some upside.
Yes.
And it feels like your 12 is more of a show horse or an exacta or trifecta piece as opposed to a winner.
Not for me, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't pick him.
Fair
I
enough.
don't like your 5.
That's all good.
Yeah.
This is the fun part of horse
yeah.
racing.
I
Disagreeing.
like the 12, I like the 10, and I like the 4, the one you don't like.
Now,
Not like it all.
Yeah. Why did you like the 10? Because Complexity will go off as the favorite
because
on Saturday.
It's a really, really, really good horse.
Let's take a peek. Let's
Yeah.
take a peek. Last time out, put up a 115 buyer. That's pretty solid. 2 back, lost. On the slop in Saratoga.
Yeah.
We could probably give a pass to that. 3 back, won an allowance optional claimer. Okay. You go back to the grade 1 Malibu, got crushed.
Yeah.
You go back, won an allowance optional claimer. Great. And then you've got 2 losses in a row of over 20 lengths. I mean 2 to 1. This seems nuts to me. It has always seemed nuts to me. Is it just that last performance? Is that it?
No, I just like the way the horse progressed.
Sure.
So
but I'm trying to take 2 to 1 on a horse in this field
yeah.
who has never run in Keeneland.
I never think it's gonna come up as 2 to 1.
Oh, it'll be less than 2 to 1. It's going to be an overwhelming
I
favorite.
don't think so.
Well, that'll be our side bet. That'll be our side bet.
Yeah.
Complexity will be a heavy favorite on
I
Saturday.
don't think so.
Absolutely.
I think it's a good horse. I didn't say it's a
No,
great
no,
horse.
but-
I thought,
well,
I don't have him as the winner.
When you look
Okay.
when you look at the money line, or the not the money line, the morning line odds there, you got 2 to 1 on Complexity,
Yeah.
and then my 5, who you don't like, 7 to 2.
Yeah.
Who's going to be favorite other than the 10? It's only the
12.
10. No
My
chance.
12.
Well, if your 12 is favorite, then he's a terrible bet.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Don't think so. I said.
There's no one else. Complexity is going to be a big favorite here, and I think it's a terrible bet. But
Right.
I
agree to disagree.
race 6 you liked.
Race 6. That was.
You were number 12, Owendale.
Yeah, 12. I had 12, 10, 4.
Alrighty, and I have the 5. Knicks go at 7 to 2. So Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf race 7 on Saturday. The horse that I was really interested in here was Peaceful. We can go through Peaceful's past performances here. This horse seems to be coming over to America for a reason, and I'm not sure that reason is just to run in the Breeders' Cup. I think this horse needs her some Lasix. This horse, last time out, beaten by 27 lengths, dead last. That was heavy ground, and we can say, oh, horse doesn't like heavy ground. It was beaten because of heavy ground. Okay, that's fine. But we can go back to the 2nd of November 2019 at Newcastle, and we can see some heavy ground, and we can see second beaten by a neck. If you don't like heavy ground, you don't come second by a neck. Something happened in that last race. Something seems a little fishy. Ryan Moore, the number 1 jockey in Great Britain, loses on a horse by 27 lengths and then gets right back on the horse when he could have plenty of in a race like this.
Not really. It's Aidan O'Brien's job.
He could definitely have plenty of rides in this race. Very sneaky. I mean, running line dead. First, second, first, third, second, 12th beaten by 27th.
I agree with you 100%. And out of my experience, deep turf in England, Ireland, up there is not something a horse cannot do.
Fair enough.
He will run maybe beaten 10, 15 lengths, but not like that, completely shutting down. This had to be bleeding
But a horse
or
if
something being wrong.
If a horse
not coming back that quickly.
but
had to be
if a horse is a bleeder,
Yeah.
you would notice it more on heavy turf because it's more
definitely.
taxing.
No, absolutely. I agree 100%.
You know, I'm pretty sure you could have European horses running on Santa Anita turf all day long.
Oh yeah.
And they're
Never
bleeders,
again,
and you would
yeah.
never, ever
Yeah,
even
yeah,
see it.
Definitely.
Number 3, Peaceful, all day my horse, super classy horse, unexposed type. I mean, kept insanely good competition in Europe. And if this horse has any interest in being 12 to 1 in this race, the horse gets my money. What say you, Owl?
I got the 12 to 1 too.
An incorrect 12 to 1. Civil Union with
Yes.
Joel Rosario, trained by Shug McGahee III.
Yeah.
What
So
say you?
That's my absolute favorite combination. So I can't get by them. It's a great horse. I have to agree with your 3, but for me the 10 is the best horse in the race. Your 3, great. The number 2, the other Irish
Sister
horse,
Charlie,
yes,
yeah.
a great horse. What else do I have to? Yeah, Starship Jubilee. I have to. Sorry, but
Was that the horse that won the
the
Woodbine Mile?
yes, the Woodbine Mile.
It's fair.
It's what 6 or 7 year old
Hey,
horse.
hey, you're getting a square.
Florent Giroux, great turf rider. Kevin Ettard.
Let's talk about this for a second. I don't really believe in the one, but if the horse that is coming off winning the Woodbine Mile is going to be 10 to 1, that's a square price on finding out if he's good enough to win this race. Straight up. So I wouldn't.
I mean, and he won with what, Justin Stein, I think.
Yes, Justin Stein at the
So,
Woodbine
I mean,
Mile.
Justin Stein is not the strongest turf rider either. So the horse showed something, and I'm still Canadian, so sorry. I have to bring him in there.
The one horse that probably needs to be shouted out here is Rushing Fall, number 6.
Yeah,
Definitely looks to be a pace factor here. Javier Castellano chose not to go straight to the lead last time out, and really can't afford to let a horse like Me and Mary turn this into a sprint, like in the Diana, like they ran last time. You know I'm not a big fan of that race, but definitely I think has to pull the trigger here and go to the lead with a horse that has that kind of pace. Coming in off a 3-race winning streak and should be forwardly placed, giving me plenty of reason to like this horse here. 5 to 2.
I have to agree with you. The other horse I really, really like is the 7, Frankie Dettori.
Number 7, I didn't look at. So what do we like about this horse at 20 to 1?
The thing I like about this horse is that Frankie is riding for the Godolphins.
Which is funky. If you know,
Yes.
if
I
you
mean,
guys know
I
anything
agree.
about European horse racing, you know that this is a little bit of a funky situation.
I mean, they fired Frankie after 15 years being the stable jockey for.
No, let's call it questionable decisions.
Yes. Okay,
Questionable
whatever.
decisions. Yeah.
I call it what it is.
Yeah.
But,
We're trying to not get banned on
yeah,
YouTube,
yeah,
so we'll
okay,
call it
okay,
questionable
okay,
decisions.
all right. And now he's coming back and riding for the Godolphins again. Is very interesting to me. I understand that Frankie is Gaston's number 1 jockey, and the Sheik just gave him some horses and they had to kiss and make up. It's all fine. But for Frankie to do that, I think the horse has a chance.
He definitely has a chance.
Yes,
If you can come second in the Queen Anne, you can win just about any race
that's what
in
I
the
mean.
world, which is totally fine. And the best thing about the 7 is that you will not get 20 to 1 on Saturday. No chance.
I doubt it, yes.
You will get 50 or 40 or 38.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot higher than 20 to 1 because no one's going to look at this horse, even though it's got crazy good connections. The American betting public is always going to boss the game in the Breeders' Cup. That's just the truth. All the people who want to bet in Europe on their European horses bet with bookmakers, not in a pari-mutuel setting. So the actual odds that are on track, that's going to be driven by American bettors. No one's going to look at the 7. So you're going to get much better than 20 to 1. My final verdict here, Peaceful, number 3, 12-1. Ryan Moore, Aidan O'Brien. That's the winner for me. Your final verdict, who's getting over the line for you? You liked your 10, right?
I liked my 12. Was it?
12? 10.
10, yeah.
10. Civil Union.
Yeah, 10. You got it. And 10 to 167. You can do a 10, 2, 2, 167 as a try.
So 10,
For
2,
me.
1.
10 first, 2 second, third, and
Oh.
then 167.
It's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
So that's 30. We will move on to the Breeders' Cup Sprint, race 8, who has a pretty significant scratch.
Yeah.
Vacoma would have gotten all of my money come Saturday.
All of my money
Yep,
too.
Vacoma will now get $0 from me because she
It's
scratched.
sad. It's very sad.
I think Vacoma would have absolutely crushed here.
Yeah.
You had an interesting horse here, number 5. I know you were looking at the Tyler Gaffalione horse, 30-1.
We are at race 8.
Race 8.
All right. I am here.
Breeders' Cup Sprint.
5, 14.
Vacoma
it's
is scratched, yeah, number 10.
Number 10.
That is likely Yaupon,
Yeah.
Joel Rosario, Steve Asmussen, who
Yes,
will
that-
go
Yeah.
into favoritism
Yeah.
come Saturday. But I saw Manuel number 5, 30-1.
That
I was
my
interested.
third horse.
Yep,
So now second horse.
now second horse.
Yeah.
And at 30-1, I mean,
I mean, Tyler Gaffalione is one of the better young riders out there. Wayne Catalano used to be the god of Arlington, and still one of the best trainers out there.
sure,
So,
yeah. Now, CZ Rocket, that was a super interesting horse here, because that was another one that was claimed for $40,000
Yeah, that was
back in April 2020, April of this year. He's claimed at Oaklawn Park, and then comes back at Churchill for a $50,000 open claiming, wins by 4. 62.5. Allowance optional claiming, wins by 4. Keeneland, $150,000 conditional allowance optional claiming, wins. Delmar, grade 2, wins. Santa Anita, grade 2, wins. So CZ Rocket was super interesting. I'm not going to bet on it for obvious reasons, but I thought it was really interesting talking about. The other horse we have to talk about here is the horse that will likely be favorite come post time with Vacoma out. That's Yaupon, the Kentucky bred with Joel Rosario, trained by Steve Asmussen. 7-2 morning line. Definitely going to be favorited over CZ Rocket, even though they have the same morning line. Odds, it's tough to know just how good this horse is, but he might be the quickest out of the gate, and that pace could prove crucial here with what I expect to be a pretty strong track bias. There's been a track bias. I mean, this is always tough to say. It's very tough to predict track biases days in advance, but I've been watching Keeneland for the entire meet, and even before that, you've got an insane track bias in Keeneland on the dirt. It's all speed. Nothing seems to ever want to come off the back.
who is not the same on turf.
It's not the same on turf, and it's a totally different game.
Keeneland got a fantastic turf.
But,
yeah.
you know, we're talking about half dirt races.
Yeah.
I mean, being able to just fly to the front is going to be very, very valuable on Saturday.
Yes.
So that's going to be my horse, the 10. I had Vacoma. Vacoma's out. Number 10 was my second pick. That's going to be the horse that I go with as my final verdict winner. But number 5, Maniwa, super duper interesting.
And we agree on that one 100%.
100%. All right, then we can move on.
10-5, that's it. That would be the exactor for me.
So we've got the Breeders' Cup Mile, race 9 on Saturday. First horse I wanted to bring up here was Siskin, who is a super consistent horse who will very likely be ignored on the betting board due to being beaten by Circus Maximus in back-to-back starts. These were 2 tight margins, however, and he very well could turn the tide on his European counterpart in this race. probably is going to provide pretty solid betting value because Circus Maximus has got Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien. A lot of people are going to look at that. Not so many people are going to look at Colin Keane and Gur Lions at 15-1. I expect Circus Maximus to be about half the odds of Siskin come Saturday. So that is one of the interesting horses to me. What say you, Owl?
I have to agree with you. On the 4, I have him in my top 3. For me, the Union, Joel Rosario, Chad Brown.
You mean Uni?
Uni.
Number 12.
Uni, yeah. It's my horse in here, but I'm always a little bit Joel
centric.
Yeah.
You'd go with. That's fine. I would have to agree with you because Uni, number 12, is my number 1 pick in this race as well. He's an incredibly consistent horse, very much belongs in this field. Has not quite been as good 3-back and 2-back, but was mighty impressive last time out, turning the tables on one of my favorite turf horses, Newspaper of Record, in that last race. And I think that last race, beating Newspaper of Record, the way that he did, makes him a big player here. You know how much I love Newspaper of Record. I love that horse. And Newspaper of Record destroyed Uni 3-back. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
You remember that. And now, last race, Uni came out and destroyed him. I like this horse in this race. I definitely do. There's some nice Euro horses coming in, and there's Raging Bull, also a nice horse from Chad Brown. But I really like Uni to take this one down.
I like in here is the 7.
Casa Creed, Bill Mott.
Yeah.
I did not take a single note on the horse. Why did you like him?
It's a very good miler.
Distance specialist.
Alvarado is a really decent jockey. So if you look up, let us look up on the past performance.
He did run 115 Bayer last time out.
Yes, 110, 115. He's a very, very decent horse. So,
This isn't your winning horse. This is your...
That's my show horse.
Yeah.
That's my show
Something horse. On the bottom of a superfecta or trifecta.
Yes.
That's reasonable.
I mean, 20-1, a Bill Mott horse.
You ain't getting 20-1.
Mott.
It's going to be higher than 20-1. For sure.
And turf.
Yeah.
With Junior Alvarado, who's really, really a little bit an underrated rider. Huh?
Well, he used to be a lot better than he is now.
I still like him.
Totally fair. I mean, he rode this horse 2-back.
Yeah.
He rode this horse early in his career. It's all reasonable. These are all small pokes into a 20-1 shot.
Yeah.
Most horse players are not allowed to poke people out of their 20-1 shot picks. But I'm going with the 12 Uni. The Owl is also going with number 12 Uni. 5-1 would be a very square price if we were to get there come Saturday.
I think so.
But I doubt that we're going to get that. If I was going to guess, I would guess we would be in the range of 7-2 on Uni come Saturday. But that's still
We'll see.
quite decent to me. Breeders' Cup Distaff, Saturday, November 7th, race 10. Grade 1, 1 mile and 1/8 on the dirt, $2 million, 3-year-olds and up, fillies and mares at $3.54. I thought very much that this was a 2-horse race. Swiss Skydiver, I'm not a big fan of, but you know who I am a big fan of? Number 10, Monomoy Girl, who seems to win every single time she goes out there. Swiss Skydiver, 2-1, doesn't make a lot of sense when you think you could get 8-5 on Monomoy Girl come Saturday. 8-5 on Monomoy Girl, if you get that on Saturday, please just bet on that, because that is going to be the best bet you're ever going to find on the entire Saturday card. But, Owl, what say you?
I have to agree with you under 10. Absolute standing horse. But my second horse, who is going to be in the triac, the second cert, is number 9, Ollie's Candy.
And why do you like Ollie's Candy?
It's just absolute, straight up, strong running horse.
Consistent.
Yeah.
You definitely get consistent.
Yes.
You definitely get John Sadler.
Yeah.
You definitely get Joel Rosario. All that stuff makes sense.
Yeah.
And given the breaks that this horse is at every race, you think that they were probably pointing this horse towards this race from the start. Ollie's Candy makes some sense at 10-1. I would agree with that, but Monomoy Girl at 8-5. If you get 8-5 on Saturday, that's probably the only way you should be looking. We're going to move on now.
The win bet.
That's the win bet.
Hang on. I have
another crazy one.
No, tractor lying here with Ollie's Candy with 2, 5, 7, 8.
So 10, 9,
9, 2, 5, 7, 8.
Okay, that could work.
Yeah.
10 with 9, 9 with 10, 5, 7, 8.
10, 9, 9, 2, 5, 7, 8.
There's your trifecta on that race. We do need to move on to the Longies. Breeders' Cup Turf, 1.5 miles, $4 million. My favorite horse in here was United. Has a good amount of tactical speed and should be on the front here. If he can slow this down, he could be very tough to catch. And looking at the PPs, the horse definitely belongs in the field. What say you, Owl?
I like the 10, Mogul.
Mogul. Why do you like the 10?
He's getting so much weight from the last race. He's getting 7 pounds from the last race from the Chatmont. And he won easy.
Totally fair. I had some notes for the number 10 here. I said, another classy European horse who may have less question marks over the ground because of the last race he ran in. Firm turf. It's likely to be firm turf come Saturday. So one of the horses that I was looking at was Magical.
Yeah,
5-2 Ryan Moore.
That's my exactor.
Definitely the class of the Europeans coming over, but big questions over how is he going to take to the turf. We don't really know. And at 5-2, I don't really want to pay to find out. I would much rather take my United at 8-1, or even your Mogul at 4-1. Your 10 isn't as good on paper as the 2, but a lot less questions, so that's definitely interesting.
That was my exacta bet, 10-2.
I don't know if I like that as an exacta bet. You would have to do 10-2 boxed to make it make sense.
You can box it, yes.
Because the 2 coming second, right?
Yeah,
it's such a classy horse that it either wins,
definitely,
or something happened on coming over, or something happened with the ground, and it comes 8th.
I agree with the box.
Yeah,
definitely.
So it would have to be a box.
Yeah.
The 2 out of anything with your exotic bets might be a good horse to just lay on top. Because it feels like I said, feels like a horse that's going to win or be nowhere.
Yeah.
We will move on to race 12, the main event of the evening. This is a great race. This is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
This is probably the race of the year. I'm taking Tis the Law. Tis the Law after just watching the last race. You can say everything that you want about Buyer's speed figures and everything else. It's all fine and dandy. But it just feels like Tis the Law ran such a great race last time, and nothing was going to come off the pace on that track. I think Tis the Law has the tactical speed to be even closer, even if the racetrack is playing to horses that are up there. So Tis the Law makes the most sense to me. The most sneaky horse for me is Tom's d'Etat, who was on an absolute tear, who has definitely got tactical speed, got completely screwed in his last race, and I would say in his last race ran better than Saturday's favorite Improbable. Those are my picks. Owl, what say you?
I'm absolutely agreeing with you 100%. 2 is my horse.
Tis the Law, 3-1.
Absolutely. Is the best horse out there.
I think so too.
I also agree with your 4, so that was my triactor, 2, 4, 4.
Okay, and who else did you like in the try?
I had the 8, the 9, and the 10.
That all seems reasonable. There's your breakdown for the 2020 Breeders' Cup, the Saturday slate. Go ahead, give us a subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate if you got this far. Don't be too hard on the Owl. It's his first podcast. He's going to give you all the winners. I'm going to keep you entertained. Twitter, On The House Pick 1. Instagram, On The House Picks. Good luck this Saturday.